Hello everyone, this is Satish here. Today we'll discuss about how to Dockerize a Python application. So for that I'm referring the official Docker Doc website. Here we have multiple example like how to Dockerize a Node.js application, Java, Go and Python. So I will be working on the Java. We will follow along with their example and we will run that in our local and see how it is behaving. So we will be covering mostly the how to build an image, the run the container and develop your application. So these are the 3 points I'll be talking about. Yeah, and just to give you an overview, like I will be also looking into the Docker desktop as well to see how the volumes, images and containers which all are present in the GUI form, and we'll be mostly using the CLI part to run through the container images and all those things. Yeah, so yeah, and also the Docker version which I am using is the very recent version at this date is 20.10.8. Yeah, so now let's come to the point, what is Docker. So Docker means Docker is a way through which uh, you can put your application into a container. So as an example, like to build an application, whatever necessary things you need, you can make that application, and that application you put inside the container, and the responsibility of the container is to run your application. So it's like a single packaged unit which you will be creating as an application and putting it inside the container, Docker container, and the Docker container is responsible for managing all the dependencies and all, and it will run your application inside the Docker container. So this is mostly a very brief example of the Docker, and the one of the very important points here is what is Docker file, image and container. So Docker file will be working on the Docker file in this example. So Docker file is just a blueprint for building an image. So this is the first part where this is responsible for creating an image, and what is image is basically a template for running the container, running your container. So this, once the image is been created, you will deploy the image into a container, and that will be responsible for running. So this is a template for running your container. It's as simple. And what is container is the actual running process where the project is packaged. So this is a place where your application is present, and it will be responsible for running your application. So this is container where we actually put the images. So these are the very important points with respect to Docker. Yeah, so with that we will jump back to the how to build an image. Okay, with that we will look into the first point, which is building the image. So for building the image we need to enable the build kit if it's not enabled, but for us we are using a Docker desktop, so it is automatically enabled. So if it's not enabled, you need to provide this command into the Docker CLI. It will enable the build kit for you. And also the important thing is like what is the use of the build kit here is that it will convert the Docker file into a Docker image. So this is the responsibility of the build kit. Yeah, so moving ahead, we need some important thing here is like Python. For creating this image we need a Python version 3.8. A Docker should run locally, and IDE here. So yeah, and the important thing here, they are saying like we need to create a folder here like a Python Docker. So the folder is already created here like a Python Docker, and all the 3 files which they also have. So I have created all these 3 points, and also this is the code which will be running. So this is our application. I have copy pasted the same code. Yeah, and basically we need to run this application. So this is the normal way how we run the application. So I'll also run this and see this behavior. So it is running locally on the port number 5. Yeah, you can see it's running, and we got the output as a hello Docker. So we need to achieve the same thing using image and the container as well. So moving ahead, yeah, so the first important step is to create the Docker file here. So for creating the Docker file we need some basic point, like from where we need to pull the image. So this is our base image. We need to provide the base image, like from this location I will be downloading the Python 3.8 version, and after the Python downloaded I will set the working directory as my current app directory here, and then I will copy the requirement, which is my requirement file, into the container. I will copy the same requirement file into the name requirement.txt file, and then I will run the requirement file to download all the dependencies which is required to run the app.py file, and then I will copy my code to the location where the working directory is present. So this is the copy command, and finally we need to run the application. So this is the command needs to run the application, and the important point need to be noticed here is the host. So this is required basically. We need to tell we need to run when the image is executed inside the container. Okay, so currently the image will be running inside our container, so we need to expose it to outside as well. So this is the command basically help us to expose the image. So this we will see when we will be creating the image and the container. So I'll show you the importance of this part. And yeah, and this is the if we put all the points in a one file, so these are the command we need to run. So I'll reiterate once again. So first we need the base image, then we need to set the working directory, copy the requirement file, run the requirement.txt file to install the dependencies, copy the code, and then get the command basically to run your application. And this is our project directory structure. We have a python docker folder, inside that we have a 3 file. So the same thing, python docker folder, and we have 3 file, app, docker, and the requirement.txt file. So the first important thing, how we can build an image. So this is the command through which we can build an image. So I'll just copy paste this. Let's see, let's stop this, open the terminal, copy this. Okay, so the important thing which needs to be noticed here, it is running some steps. So what all the steps it is running basically? So it is using your python the docker file, using the docker file, sorry, it will use your docker file and run the commands in the order which you have provided. Like it will first download the python 3.8 from the base image, and then it will set the working directory, copy, run, and then again copy, and then again it will run the command. Okay, so this is basically the image is created. So if you want to see the image, we can look into the docker images command. So we see this image is created just now. So we have only single image as of now. So this is how we can create the image and look into the image. So yeah, docker images give us the way through which we can. And yeah, by default if you see this command, we don't have any tag attached to it. So there is no tag, so it will use the, by default it will use the latest as a tag. So if you want to provide some tag, you can run this command. Like you have to give a tag name here, tag name, so it will basically create the tag for you. So let's say run the docker. So this time it is created the docker using a tag name as this, but the important point needs to be noted, it is using the previous docker image as well. It is not creating a new docker image. If you see the image id, both the image id is same. So this is the important point. Only thing is that it's creating a different version out of it. Okay, so this is about the docker image. So yeah, so this is mostly about how you can create a docker image. If you want to remove the docker image, you have to provide the command remove I image, so it will remove the docker image. Let's run this and see. Sorry. So yeah, it unstates this and see the docker, all the images. So we have this python docker image. So this we can also see in the docker desktop as well. So if you go back to the image, you can see we have one image called a python docker. So this is exactly same what we see in the CLI as well, the same thing. Yeah, and as of now we don't have any container and any volume. Okay, so this is mostly about how we can create an image, like remove an image. So this point is regarding the image. Yeah, so with that I will jump back to the second step, which is like how to run your container. Okay, so the second point is to run your image as a container. So whatever the image we created in the previous step, we need to run that. So this is the command for running the image. So let's run this. So I'll clear the screen once and let's see what image we have. Yeah, so we wanted to run this image. So the command here is that docker run the image name, like the python docker which we created. So yeah, after running this image, what it will do, it will basically create a container for us, and it will run our application on that container. So we can see the application is running. So now let's go back and see what is the next step. They are saying to run this command, and while running the command, it will say connection refused. So let's run and check. Yeah, so we also see we are failed to connect to this port number. So let's refer back to the documentation. So the reason is that we need to publish the port. So the port which the current application is running inside the current application, means inside the container, is 5000. So we need to expose this 5000 port to the outside as well. So this is the syntax like this. So we have the container port here, and the container port we need to expose it. So we export in the same port number, but you can provide your any choice of port number here. So we'll take the same example. We'll provide the 5080. So this is the command. So let's stop this. Let's so stop this and run this command. So now the application is also running. Now let's use the same thing. We will use the same localhost 5000, right? So yeah, so you, after running this command, we'll see the output as a hello docker. So this is the output which we are getting. So now we can also run this from the browser also. So as I said, the importance of this host number. So what we are saying, we expose our application to the outside using this host number. So for running this application, we basically need to get this followed with the port number, which is 5000. So here you also see we have the same output like as a hello docker. So this has been exposed to the outside the container as well. So using this host which we provided in the command. Okay, so I'll jump back to the steps which we need to look. Yeah, so one thing, important thing need to be noticed here, like this application is running means in a attached mode. We can also run in a detached mode as well. So this is the way through which we can detach this, run in a detached mode, and we publish the port number, and this is the image which we wanted to run. So this is the way. So we can also try this out. Let's just stop this. Yeah, so the application is running in a detached mode. So if you go and run this command, let's copy and paste. So we have the output as a hello docker. In the here also we can see we have the same output. And also the important thing here is that we can look into the container. So we have 3 container created as of now in the multiple times we run, and this is the current running container we have, and these are the 2 which we ran before. So this is the container, and as of now we have only one image, single image we created for our app.py file, and this is the container which is running. So if you want to see the containers here, we can have a look. Docker ps all. So it will give us 3 containers here, right? So these are the 3 containers, and this is the container which is up and running as of now, and these 2 are in a stop state as of now. So this is mostly about how we can run the docker container in a detached mode, and this is how we can list all. So this command will give us all the active containers, and ps hyphen all, it will give us all the containers. Yeah, and we can also start, stop, and name a container. So important thing here is that you see the naming convention here. So these Docker containers are named by default. So this is the random name they are providing, but we can also give our name specific containers as well. So this is about how we can name the containers. We can also start or stop a container. This is also the feature is provided here. So this we can also have a look. So that is not very important for us as of now, but yeah. So this is the way through which we can basically run our image into a container, and we can use that to see how the application is running inside the container. So this is mostly about the second point. So we'll now look into the third point, which is develop your app. Okay, so now we are in the step of using the container for development. So here inside the container we'll be creating a database like a MySQL database, and using this database we'll be making some REST call using our application file. And yeah, so with that, first what we need here is that we need to create a volume and a network. So what is the basic use case here is that volume will be creating so that it will persist the data inside this volume, and also the configuration as well. So one for the data and one for the configuration we are having. A network is basically is acting as a bridge between the MySQL and in our application. So this is helping us to connect with the application to the MySQL. This is the use of the network here. So let's quickly create this. Yeah, so MySQL volume has been created. Let's create the config as well. This is also created. Let's create the network channel. Yeah, so these all three commands has been executed. Yeah, and now the next step is that we need to create the database and the container. Okay, so this is an important point which I need to highlight here is that I'm not able to create the database inside my container. The issue is because I'm using the Apple M1 chip here, so this is the reason I'm not able to create. So to overcome this, we need to add some property which I get from this documentation. Like we need to add the platform here as well. So let's quickly add this in our documentation. So I guess I have already here. Yeah, so this is the command. In this command I added this property. So this is the command which is there in the official website. So let's run this and see. Okay, so it is downloading MySQL from the image. Okay, so this has been downloaded. So now let's run some of the points. Yeah, now let's go inside this MySQL and check. So it is asking us for the password. The password is in the configuration. So let's provide this password. Access denied. Okay, why is it that? Let's copy and paste. Okay, so I'm inside the database. Now let's see what all the databases we have. So we have 4 database present here, which is the default database. Yeah, so this is database and I'm inside the database. Now the next step is that we need to update the app.py file. So I'll stop this database. Let's go to the app.py file. Yeah, and I'll copy the code from here. Okay, remove this, paste this. Yeah, okay, so in this code what they are doing, basically they are having 2 routes here. One is for widget and second is for the initialize the database. So this will create a database and a table, and if it's present it will drop and create. And the second is for widget. It will give us all the information which is present under the widget table. So these are the 2 different APIs. So yeah, and it needs some requirements. There is some dependency like MySQL connector Python, and we need to add this in the requirement file as well. So I have already added here, like this is already added, so I don't need it. Yeah, and now we need to build this, create a fresh image. Okay, so the image has been created using the steps. Now let's run this. Yeah, so this has been executed. So if we run the command, we'll get some output. So yeah, so this returns the output as a init in database. So if you go and look at the init db, this route, it is returning the init database, which is exactly what we are getting. And the second thing is the widget. So in the widget, it will return as an empty. So as currently there is no document present, so it is returning as an empty array. So let's add something and check, are we getting some data or not. Okay, so I'll go back inside the database, copy the password. Okay, so data bases. So as at this time we have a new database called inventory. So let's use this database. Okay, show the tables, widget table will be present. Yeah, so let's describe widget. So it has two properties like a name and description. So is there any document inside this? Okay, so the table is empty. Let's insert some value. Okay, so value, I need some dummy test. Okay, so yeah, it is been added. Let's see, let's run this. So yeah, it is added. We have the data present in the table. Now let's run this command and see we are getting the output or not. Yeah, curl localhost widget. I'll come out from here. Oh, sorry, let's copy this. So we have the output here, right? We have the output which we added to the table. So this is working perfectly. Yeah, so this is about how we create the database and using and updated the app.py file, and then hit some endpoint and we'll get the output, and we added some data as well. So the same thing we can achieve using the compose as well. Okay, so using the compose file, we can basically create the in the single like the file only, we provide the Python, the Docker image and the MySQL database, and when we run this compose file, we will get all the, like, the image will be created, and the container will also be up and running. So let's try and create this. Okay, so let's clear this. Don't need, and we need to create this file, and under this file we need to add this properties. Let's add this. Yeah, okay, and yeah, save this. And we also need to add the this platform as well. This is required. Under the database we need to add, yeah, and we also need to change the port number as well, because in the previous example I have changed the port number, because this port number is binded in my machine as of now. So if it's in your case, if it's working, you can try using the same port number. Like, this is the container port number, and in the exposed port I am giving the same port. It was giving some error, so I have changed it to 13330. So I'll be using the same port number here as well, otherwise I'll get some error. I don't want it to as of now. So yeah, we can also try with the default 3306. If it doesn't work, if you get some binding error, just try to change the port number, it will work. Yeah, now let's build this. Okay, so what we have here is the some issue, cannot start here, extendable port is already allocated. Port is already allocated. Okay, So we have already created in the previous example, so let's delete the container and try to run the using compose. Okay, this is also not required, this is also not required. Images, let's not touch the image as of now, and yeah, let's run this again and see if we get any output. Okay, so I guess it will run now. Okay, so it is ready for connection. So it is up and running and it is ready for connection, but it is not running in a detached mode. Let's verify that. Yeah, it's not running in a detached mode. We just provided the file, and we use the Docker Compose up with the file name, and we build this. Okay, no issues. We will be using a different tab here, and let's run this. Yeah, we get the database, initialize the database. Let's run this as well and see. Okay, so this time the data has been deleted because I deleted those containers. So the MySQL database was created on the container, and I deleted those containers, and this is a new container which has been created. If you go and see that, so we have a new container which is running. I deleted the previous ones. Yeah, and if you wanted to repeat the same step, that go inside the MySQL database and add some document, we can also do that. So let's quickly test that as well. So run this command. Okay, so we don't have any container. Okay, let's see what is the container name we have. Okay, so this is the container name we have. Okay, so let's use this container name instead of using MySQL DB. So this time a new container name is created. Let's give the password. We need to give the password from the YAML file, and which is the same password what we have seen in the previous steps. So yeah, let's go inside the database. Sorry. So same inventory DB, like use inventory. Okay, so we have the table. Let's see if we have everything. Whether it's no document present, let's insert some. Some testing, some test description. Okay, so it has been added. Let's verify that. Yeah, this has been added, and yeah, we can run this command and check the document present or not. Okay, let's run this. Let me come out from here first. Okay, let's copy paste. Sorry. Yeah, so this you can see we have the response from the API is that we have the only one document was present, so it returned us that list of object, only one object. So yeah, that's pretty much about like how we can like add a database inside our container, and then we can use it from our application to make some REST call. So that's pretty much about like what I wanted to discuss about the 3 point: the build image, the run the container, and develop your app using a database. So yeah, this I guess this will be helpful to someone who is learning into the Docker and trying to figure it out using this example how it is working. So it's very straightforward from the documentation, like how they are doing. So the important thing is that in my case, like I was using the Apple M1 chip, so it's important you should mention this property as a platform as the Linux AMD 64. This is important. If you don't provide this, it will not work. So this is one of the important point you need to provide in both the compose file, and if you are using the simple CLI as well, you need to provide this property as well. So this is pretty much what I wanted to discuss about the Dockerize and Python application. So I hope this will be helpful to someone who is learning. So yeah, thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.